In 2021, Egypt was profoundly shaken by a grievous kidnapping incident. The situation was even more disturbing when the perpetrator used Facebook to broadcast the crime live. As we delve into these crime stories, we must caution viewers, please ensure that children are not exposed to this content or use headphones for discretion. Additionally, if you find the material valuable, do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you join us for the first time. Our narrative commences in a rural residence located in Fayum, Egypt. Here lived Ayman Abdul Maqsood, along with his wife and children. Ayman was notorious for being one of the region's most dangerous career criminals, possessing an extensive record that included theft, extortion, arson, and even murder. His nefarious activities culminated in a decade-long imprisonment following the murder of a neighbor during a previous altercation, notoriety that earned him the moniker the Thug of Fayum. Understandably, his descent into crime placed immense strain on his marriage. His violent tendencies towards his spouse ultimately led to their divorce. In the aftermath of this separation, Ayman embarked on an unexpected path. He resolved to abandon his life of crime entirely. In addition to seeking redemption, he wished to marry once more. His brothers Ahmed and Muhammad introduced him to Rania, a serene and beautiful divorced woman with 2 daughters who shared similar social circumstances as Ayman himself. Recognizing their commonalities and without hesitation, Ayman proposed marriage, which Rania accepted. Following their union, they resided together in Fayum alongside Mustafa, Ayman's son from his first marriage, hoping to forge a new beginning away from previous misdeeds. As I previously mentioned, Ayman had abandoned his criminal past and pursued a series of respectable professions. He took on roles such as delivering goods to factories and serving as a security officer for contracting projects, among other legitimate jobs. These occupations were entirely removed from the illicit activities he was once involved in. Life continued peacefully and without incident until Ayman uncovered something that abruptly disrupted this tranquility. Mustafa was persistently frail and sickly, devoid of the energy typical of children his age. His condition persisted until one fateful day when he suddenly lost consciousness. His father took immediate action, rushing him to the hospital where doctors diagnosed Mustafa with a stroke. Ayman was astonished. It is highly unusual for a child of Mustafa's age to suffer from such an ailment. The doctor explained that the stroke was induced by extensive and inappropriate use of sedatives and hypnotics, substances far too potent for someone so young. Ayman's shock intensified. How had his son gained access to these drugs? Could it be influenced by disreputable friends? To uncover the truth, Ayman resolved to closely monitor Mustafa around the clock. During this distressing situation, Ayman received an anonymous phone call accusing his wife, Rania, of being immoral and deceitful, a revelation that compounded his already mounting worries. Consequently, rather than merely observing his son's behavior, he resolved to surveil the entire household. He feigned going to work each morning, only to remain concealed near his residence to conduct this covert observation. Questions proliferated in Ayman's mind, yet sometimes ignorance is bliss, a notion proven true when Ayman uncovered an unimaginable truth. His wife and her mother were clandestinely operating a prostitution ring from within their home. During profound shock and utter disbelief, Ayman came to realize that his wife was deliberately putting their son to sleep every night to shield him from witnessing these illicit activities and potentially informing his father. Overwhelmed by these startling revelations, Ayman found himself increasingly susceptible to dark influences. During profound shock and utter disbelief, Ayman came to realize that his wife was deliberately putting their son to sleep every night to shield him from witnessing these illicit activities and potentially informing his father. Overwhelmed by these startling revelations, Ayman found himself increasingly susceptible to dark influences. In November 2021, Eamon went out in a live broadcast on his Facebook page, talking to his wife's daughters, Jana and Naira. In this broadcast, he made them say what they were doing in his absence, and they told him the names of many people who were coming to the house to practice prostitution. Eamon discovered that his wife's mother was running this network, and among the shocking information that his stepdaughter said in the broadcast was that even Eamon's brother was bringing them new clients and getting money in exchange for this. After this broadcast ended, Eamon made another broadcast advising the people of his city to search behind their daughters because he knew that among them were many girls under the legal age who had already joined this prostitution network from the ages of 9 to 15, something truly terrifying and shocking. After this broadcast ended, the world rose in the quiet city. Everyone was talking about the number of scandals and famous names that were frequenting this place. Until the people heard the sound of gunfire and screaming in Eamon's house, they called the police immediately. Upon the arrival of law enforcement officers at the scene, Eamon issued a dire threat. He would end the hostages' lives if anyone attempted to enter or approach the premises. Given his extensive criminal background, it was unsurprising that he possessed not just one but several firearms. In response, police established a security perimeter as tensions mounted. Despite their best efforts to engage in calm negotiations with Eamon and persuade him to surrender, all attempts were met with steadfast refusal. Eamon continued to threaten lethal consequences should anyone come near. This standoff persisted for 2 full days until authorities executed a surprise raid. During this operation, an exchange of gunfire ensued between Eamon and law enforcement personnel. Eventually, officers managed to wound him in the thigh and subdue him, resulting in his arrest. As a consequence of this decisive action, 4 children and 2 men, identified as friends of Eamon whom he had kidnapped after discovering their illicit relationships with his wife, were safely freed. In light of these events and following Eamon's apprehension, crucial questions remain unanswered. Where have Eamon's wife and mother gone? In fact, the police did not need much time to search for them, because after the police detained Eamon and during the search of the house, they found the body of his wife's mother in one of the rooms, a dead body as a result of a gunshot wound to the head, and the question remained, where is his wife? Did he end her life? Did she run away? Where did you go? Eamon refused to confess, no matter how hard the police tried to pressure him, until Mustafa, Eamon's son, told them exactly what happened. He told them that his father discovered the prostitution network and beat his wife Rania hysterically and violently, and that he hung her by her leg and left her without any food or drink until she died as a result of torture and hunger and thirst. He buried her in one of the rooms of the house. The shock is that all of this happened 2 full months ago, before the live broadcast, and indeed, when the police went again to the criminal's house, they found his wife's body buried in one of the rooms at a depth of 4 meters under a block of cement, and the report proved that the criminal case is that Eamon had raped his wife and mother-in-law before killing them. In the trial, Eamon's brothers were sentenced to 15 years in prison on charges of human trafficking because they were bringing underage girls between the ages of 9 and 15 years old for only £2,000, which is approximately $50. As for Eamon's trial, he said that he did this to take revenge on his unfaithful wife and her mother, but the court did not find that he was innocent, and he was convicted of 19 criminal charges and sentenced to death. Ultimately, I seek your views on this appalling crime. If you were in the position of judge, how would you rule in the case of Eamon? Would he receive your empathy? Please share your final judgment in the comments section. We will reconvene with another video soon. Until then, remain safe and well.